Welcome to Ignorance Unleashed with your host Salvatore Cavalieri. Step into Salvatore's bold and unapologetic take on today's news and its impact on real estate. In just 10 minutes, enjoy no-nonsense insights with a dash of humor and absurdity. Approved by his psychiatrist and wife because they agree he needs this outlet.
Hey. So, today we're going to talk... ¿Qué pasó aquí con el micrófono? Anyway, today we're going to talk about one of the most satisfying things I do, which is to know that you have a tenant and the seller, the owner, the landlord wants to sell the property and convert that tenant into a buyer, a home buyer. That is one of the most satisfying things that I do in this profession. Okay, so let's some background on this. Okay. As you know, in property management, of course, you manage properties. There are certain companies that do not work with landlords in terms of selling or buying assets. They just don't. I particularly enjoy that because it's a financial analysis that has to be done, not only to buy an asset that is going to perform for you, and also when is the best time to sell the asset, okay? So I enjoy that a lot when I do that kind of calculations, just to figure out when is the best time to move on, to upgrade. Let's say you started with a duplex and then you move to something like that. Okay, back there, a multifamily. So, with that said, if you're going to look for an investment, a management company, probably you want to look for one that is more full in terms of services. The one that I can tell you, you know what, I think probably it's time to move this asset into something else, okay? But with that said, it comes a question. Well, who's going to buy this thing? And sometimes you find the person the closest to you, the person closest to you sometimes is the one that can give you the best solution for your problem, which is right now you want to sell. So if you're a landlord and you want to upgrade your asset, or simply you want to move it for some strategic reason, taxes, whatever it is, or maybe you have a financial issue, which happens often, then who do you think is one of the first people that you need, actually your capable agent, is to knock on the door and propose? Propose what? Propose, hey, would you like to be a homeowner? Would you like to be the investor? Okay? And that is something we have done a lot. And that has been very rewarding because many of these tenants do not have the knowledge. You just don't know. They've been renting for so long and they think that they're stuck into that particular role in life. I'm going to be forever a tenant. That's what I heard very often, but that's not the case. You can move from tenancy to being a landlord yourself or being an owner if you plan, if it takes time. Okay, it all depends. Clearly, there are some tenants that they have some kind of short-term goal to stay in a particular place or a particular type of property for a particular reason, 1 year, 2 years, and then they move away. Okay, those are not the candidates, but you have other ones that they have some roots established in a particular community, family, job, other relationships that they may have, that they want to stay in a particular area, and they've been renting for a long time. And many people, I find out, do not have a solid financial education. So because they don't know, they just assume that they will be stuck forever in being a tenant, and that is not the case. So I've been in cases where the landlords, they have to sell the asset for whatever reason, and then the first people that go and knock on the door is the tenant. Hey, Mr. Tenant, I have some news for you. The owner's thinking very seriously of selling, and usually when I approach them like that, their eyes go like this because internally probably they have panic. Well, I have to move. What's going to happen? How long am I going to be here? It's things like that. Okay, so I give them assurances that, things will work out. But besides that, I ask them, hey, look, would you be interested in buying this property? The owner is thinking and is making the first offer to you. Would you be interested in this? What would you like to do? And then we start the conversation with them. And they will tell you, yes, I'm interested because I've been here 5 years, 7 years. I've been here for so long. I know the property really well. I want to stay in this place. Okay. And then comes the good news that you have to guide them, in the process, which will be the next step will be to financially pre-qualify them just to see if they can really afford comfortably without getting in trouble financially to buy and live in this particular property. For example, recently I had a case where it's an investment property. It's a duplex, two sides, side A and side B. Both were about to come into the market, and we approached the tenant. And now, because I am the manager, the property manager for that particular property, I have a lot of information that other agents will not have. I know if the tenant is punctual. I know if the behavior in the property has been good. I know a lot of things, that will let me to guide me to think if this person is really, a good fit for this. Regardless, you need to ask your tenant, wait, would you be interested in buying? And you will be amazingly surprised just to see how many of them can really go for it. Okay. So in this particular case, we have one tenant that is thinking and going through the numbers, is being pre-qualified, where in this particular duplex, he will be living in one side of the duplex, and then the other side, he will be renting out. And since he will become an owner, he has many choices to rent this out, okay? So he can rent out long-term, like a year. He can rent out 7 months, someone who wants to stay a shorter period of time, let's say for some particular reason, maybe summer, something like that, maybe part of the year, okay? Or short-term rentals. So now, and this particular property doesn't have any HOAs, so there are no rules of HOAs to tell you what to do, where, what time you go to lunch, and et cetera, which are some HOAs are super restrictive in short-term leasing. So this tenant, when he heard the news that the property is available, and in the conversation, he learned all the possibilities as a homeowner he had. Not only that, he also has some tax advantages as well. Okay, because it's a kind of an investment property. One side he lives, on the other side he rents, so he can deduct a lot of things. It's always good to check with your. This is the disclaimer that I always have to make. You have to check with your CPA, etc., etc. Well, anyhow, so this guy's thrilled because he feels that he will release the shackles that he had for so long, which is to, okay, I am a tenant. I gotta be careful if I put a frame here or a TV there. It's not my property. I have to be careful because the rent may go up 5% or 7% or 10% next year. So that kind of stuff. Okay. Now, as a homeowner, my mortgage rate typically is going to be fixed. Always get a fixed rate, by the way. Okay, it's going to be fixed. So you know very well that your payments are not going to go up in terms of principal and interest because it's going to be fixed. What's going to go up in time, of course, is taxes, real estate taxes, and also insurance that is going to also go up. Of course, you're going to have your maintenance, but this particular case for this particular property, the duplex is almost brand new. It's like 3 or 4 years old. So the roof is impeccable, appliances impeccable. It's in pristine condition, the property. So when he heard his possibilities, you could see his eyes opening in just pure joy that he was thinking, oh my God, and a duplex, a multifamily goes up in price as well. Okay. And so those are very joyful events. So if you're an investor or you're a real estate agent, and you need to sell an investment property, even an apartment with a tenant inside or a duplex with 2 tenants, actually. This particular tenant rents both sides. Interesting, huh? All right. So what about knocking on that particular tenant that you know that you have a relationship, a business relationship, and you say, hey, maybe you're interested in making an upgrade in your life, and from tenant become a landlord. So always think high and always look at your closest opportunity that you may have around for you to get to that final destination, which is to sell that property in the best terms. So you have win and win. A seller that is happy and a new tenant that is thrilled not to be wasting money in rent, according to them. Thank you.